Hey everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we're talking about why you should not wait to buy clothes when you want to lose weight. Do not wait. This is one of the biggest mistakes I see people making is they say, well, once I lose the weight, then I'll buy the clothes. And it ends up being longer than you think. And next thing you know, you're wearing clothes that make you feel bad. You just don't feel good in. They don't fit right. They're just kind of out of style. You don't really feel good in them. And what happens is, I know on a logical level, it kind of makes sense. Well, why would I waste money on clothes now when I'm not going to be wearing them once I lose the weight? And I get that. But in a real sense, what you're saying to your subconscious is that we are going to not feel good now to force ourselves to do the things that are going to make us feel good in the future. And what happens is this is the real typical dieter mindset. I always call this holding your good emotions hostage. And this is a version of that, where you're not allowing yourself to feel good in your clothes, to wear clothes that fit you right, that make you feel good, because you're holding off that good feeling as kind of a punishment. It's the carrot and the stick, but you're mostly using the stick. And you're making yourself feel bad to say, yeah, well, once you lose the weight, then you can wear the clothes that make you feel good. And so what happens when you actually go and get clothes now, right? And you may want to lose 50 pounds, 100 pounds, whatever. And you say, yeah, but why would I do that? Because it makes you feel better. It helps you accept who you are right now. And I'm not saying you have to buy a whole new wardrobe. Okay. I understand financial realities. However, what I am saying is if you go and you can test this out, you can test it out with one outfit and you'll see that I'm right. And if you go to the store and you say, okay, I want to lose weight, but right now, this is my size. This is where I'm at today. And I'm going to get an outfit that looks as good as possible on this body right now. That's what I'm going to do. And if you do that, you're going to go and you are going to feel better because that new outfit is going to be better than the ones you've been wearing. And you're going to feel better. And that is the secret. Stop holding your good emotions hostage. Start feeling all the good emotions now. This idea that you got to restrict yourself from feeling good to get to your goal is bullshit. The better you feel, the better it is to make better food decisions. Because all of a sudden, when you allow yourself to feel good in your outfit, all of a sudden you feel it deeply in your body in a real way. And now it becomes easier to want to do the things that allow you to get more of this feeling, right? You can feel good in your clothes now and still be motivated to want to lose weight and wear clothes that fit you even better. I think a lot of people forget that. And you think by putting the screws to yourself and punishing yourself and berating yourself and being really mean to yourself, that's how you're going to get yourself to do the right things. But what I'm telling you is that path is the exact way to overeat. Because when you restrict all the good feelings from yourself, I can almost guarantee you, you are going to go to the food because the food is the fastest, quickest way for you to get good feelings. So if you don't start to bring the good feelings into your body in a genuine non-food related way, I can almost guarantee you're going to go back to the food to get those good feelings. So when you buy yourself a new outfit, it is a way to honor yourself now, feel good now, and start to tap into the wonderful feelings that are awaiting you in the future if you walk this path. So I hope you take me up on this challenge and go buy a new outfit today. You deserve it. And you're going to see that you feel a lot better. And then notice how your eating is afterwards. I bet it improves automatically. And if you want some support with this version of how to lose weight and ultimately live at your goal weight, click the link in my bio or go to Program Yourself. Then get the free hypnosis session. Watch the video I made for you. Let me help you master your weight in a better way. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. Everyone's having a good day. What is it? Wednesday? Get through the week here. User says, always such good advice, Jim. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, happy to share it. This is what I'm here for. And yeah, it's funny. I mean, the whole clothing thing that I've so many times, I've suggested this to my clients, and every time they do it, they always feel better. And again, that's just one granular strategy of a bigger thing of stop making yourself not feel good now. Because again, that's what you're doing. You have been conditioned to think that the meaner I am to myself, the less good I feel, the more motivated I'll be to eat well. And it is ass backwards. It is completely backwards. Our brain is a pleasure-seeking mechanism. Our brain is built to seek out pleasure. This is what the issue with the food is in the first place anyways, is that you associate the food with pleasure and your brain gets hooked on it. It's obsessed with it. So you think eliminating the pleasure from your life, that's what's going to get you to eat well? It doesn't work that way. The secret is to find pleasure in non-food related ways. The more of them, the better. The more non-food related ways that you can get pleasure in your life, the less issues you're going to have with eating healthy, because the less important the food becomes. But for a lot of you, the food is the main source of pleasure in your life. That's the problem. So the answer is not to restrict all pleasure. It's to find new pleasures, new sources of pleasure that are not based on food. That is the secret. D says, can you master your eating if you struggle with binging? Well, yeah, I mean, mastering your eating is mastering the binging, So mastering your eating is really just a big top level description of mastering the little components of your eating. So, that's I mean, in a general sense, what I eat, when I eat, how much I eat, right? But then we break that down. And so, mastering your eating for you, D, if you got binge eating struggles, part of mastering your weight is resolving your binge eating. But that's not it, right? Your binge eating is not the only part of mastering your eating. Because, where most people start, so the weight mastery path is we start with our problems, right? So people come into the program and they go, okay, I'm a binge eater. I got to stop binge eating. But the problem there is that's just that's the doorway you walk through to start on the path. Simply because, and that's what everyone does. Everyone's always focused on their problems. I have to stop eating sugar. I have to stop eating so much. I have to stop binging. I have to stop emotional eating. I got to stop eating junk food. I got to stop eating fast food stuff. That's what I have to do. So we always start with the problem, and we articulate the goal in terms of an absence of the problem. But that is not the solution, okay? Because what that does, that creates a vacuum. And this is where most of you dieters are stuck at. Your whole concept of weight loss is built around the idea that I need to stop doing something or some things. But it creates a vacuum. And your brain hates vacuums. Just like nature abhors a vacuum, your mind abhors a vacuum. So the answers are not, it's not an answer to say, I got to stop binging. That's the start of finding an answer. And the reason why this is because your subconscious mind does not understand negatives. So if I tell you not to think of the word I'm going to say, do not think about a pink balloon. Don't think about a pink balloon. Do not think about a pink balloon. Right? So you're trying not to think about it, but you're thinking about it. So this is why the ultimate solution is not phrased in a negative. It's a starting point. So I struggle with binging. Okay, what would you like to be able to do? Notice, right? There's nothing there. I mean, what you'd like to do now, again, depends on you can dive into binge eating. There's lots of different versions of it, right? But let's just say I overeat at dinner. I binge at dinner. I'm good all day, and then dinner comes and I binge all at dinner time. I ate way too much. Okay. So what's the answer? I don't want to binge. That's not the answer. And I know this is frustrating, but I'm trying to just prove a point that it reveals that you have no programming to be a thin, healthy person yet. Because your life is filled with things that you have programmed into your mind that you do. So yeah, you don't want to binge. Okay, now we got a vacuum. No, we got binging here. Now I want no binging. Well, what's that mean? Notice how hard it is for you to say the words. I want to eat moderately. There's a way to say it. I want to eat just enough. Well, now your brain has a direction to go in. Now you can imagine something. Before it's a vacuum, it's an empty space. Binging used to be here and now it's not. Now I don't binge. Okay, well, what do? Don't eat? Well, you're never going to eat again? So there's a difference between saying I want to stop binging and I want to learn how to eat in a moderate, calm, mindful way where I eat just the right amount of food. And notice how that feels when I say it, because now I'm giving your brain think of your brain as like a computer, And each behavior is kind of like a program. And if you know anything about computer programming, you have to be very, very specific about what's going to happen. You have to be very specific about what the code says. And so you can't tell a computer, don't do this. So what? You have to tell it what to do. So it's the same thing with your subconscious mind. You need to be very, very specific about what you want to do. And so when it comes to binging, I would want to switch that up. Can you master your eating if you struggle with binging? I would want to say, I struggle with binging. I don't want to binge anymore. What do I want to do? And again, I asked that question in an open-ended way because I don't know what your answer is. I bet D, you're not binging all day long. Most of you are not binging from sun up till sundown. Most of you. Your binging has very specific patterns to it. Maybe you binge after dinner. You binge at lunch. You binge on the weekends. You know what I mean? Usually there's a pattern to it. And that's important to recognize because instead of just saying, oh, I just got to stop binging. Well, that makes it sound like you binge all the time. And most people do not. And so we want to get specific. Oh, okay. And then you realize, oh, like I have 3 binging patterns. I do one where I snack after dinner or I binge after dinner. One is I binge when I'm really sad. And one is I binge on Saturday nights. They're Saturdays all day long. Okay, great. Which one's the worst one? Saturday one. Okay, great. Let's focus on that. You know what I mean? We keep diving down into it to figure out how to fix it, but we need to understand it first. So anyways, can you master your eating if you struggle with binging? I mean, again, mastering your eating is resolving your struggles with binging. It's a big blanket phrase, but that's just one little piece of it. Another piece of mastering your eating is knowing how to nourish your body, managing your hunger, dealing with your emotions in a genuine way without food, understanding your cravings, sleeping better so that your cravings are reduced and your mind's more clear, drinking enough water, eating more whole natural foods, having strategies for when you go to a restaurant, having logistical strategies to have the healthy foods in your presence when you want to eat them. So, you know what I mean? Like again, mastering your eating is a top level description. Hope that makes sense to you. And if it doesn't, let me know because I'm happy to. I could literally talk about mastering your eating all day long. Obviously, that's what I do. Then it says, "Thank you, Jim. Your advice is awesome." Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Oops. And if you ask questions, I'm getting to them. There was a little bit. Oh, shit. Okay, here we go. What's up, Katie? Not Jim telling me to go shopping. Yeah. Do it, Katie. You'll be shocked. Yeah, especially you, Katie. You would love it. Like again, it's just such a funny thing, It's so with the shopping thing, it's so like and again, it's big, it's part of a bigger issue. It's one flavor of the restriction we do to ourselves, always holding back the good feelings and the good experiences. Once I lose the weight, when you hear yourself say, once I lose the weight, that should be a big old red. In my mind, I always imagine, mailboxes, I don't know if they still do this, but they have like the big red flag on them. In my mind, like every time I hear like a suspicious phrase or, a wrong phrase, I imagine that red flag. Hey, whoa, Jim. And it's like one of those phrases is once I lose the weight. When you hear yourself saying that, whoa, what am I saying? Why wait? Why wait? There's very few things I find that it makes sense to wait until you've lost the weight. It's a toxic mindset. I know you don't believe me, but I promise you it is. What's up, Just Jade says, I definitely feel like if I withhold certain things, it will motivate me more. Yeah, no, I get it. I get people think that. And again, I'm not saying, obviously, sometimes withholding is okay. When it's a little bit, but with weight loss, I can tell you for a fact, what ends up happening is the withholding state of not feeling confident, of not feeling attractive, of not feeling good becomes who you are. At this point, you've been withholding from yourself the good emotions and good experiences for so long. It's probably been decades. And you now sit as a person who feels like shit about themselves and doesn't get to feel good. So weight is very unique. I think like if you run your own business or something, you're a salesperson, you say, listen, once I have a big sale, then I'll go and, go out to dinner, take my family out to dinner. That's a different thing. Okay. But what I'm talking about with weight is very unique, and it becomes a way of being that, again, if you're a dieter, you've been dieting for decades. You've been struggling with your weight for decades and you now live in a headspace. This is literally why I do this every day. Because this is the thing that bums me out so much is that people are living this glorious, beautiful life that you get, and you're living it feeling like shit about yourself because of your weight and your inability to change it. And I'm telling you that you think that withholding it is going to move you forward, and it doesn't work that way. You withhold all the good feelings and then you end up eating shitty food because you want to feel better. And it's the fastest, quickest way you can. So, yeah. What's up, Tabitha? How's it going? So, yeah, but any questions you got, feel free to ask them. I got all sorts of opinions on all sorts of weight-related matters. But the basic idea is that you can absolutely master your weight. What's up, Kent? Kent said, I thought dropping pounds would make me happy when in fact it was the changes that I've made. Yeah. Again, profound. It's a profound idea. I say this every day to people I know. You know, some of you aren't going to like what I say here, but me and someone who's 150 pounds overweight, we each start the day in the same spot pretty much. And what I mean by that is that what we do throughout the day, primarily what we eat too, is going to probably have the biggest impact on the quality of our day. You should really get that through your head, because a lot of you have been sold this big ass bullshit fairy tale about dieting that once you get to your goal weight, everything's amazing. But it's not. I literally, this morning, I'm like, I was just obsessed with a donut and I went and got a donut and it was disgusting. I was thankful for it because it was the worst donut I've had in a long time. And I think it finally did the trick. It was fucking gross. But, so here I ate it and I was eating. I'm like, oh God, I was literally grimacing eating it. But of course I ate it, but it's like I'm grimacing eating it. And it's like, this feels like shit. And then it's like into my stomach. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I don't feel good. I wish I didn't eat that. So, you know, again, what I'm trying to tell you is that it's the food you eat. Now, again, it was one donut. I'll be okay. But if I ate 4 donuts, it would have fucked up my whole day. You know, there's such things as food hangovers. You should recognize that and you should think about them, because if you're eating a lot of bullshit, never mind your weight. What you have to realize is you're living this inebriated lifestyle, inebriation hangover, inebriation hangover, inebriation hangover. And most Americans, I mean, I used to eat 6 times a day. You just, this fucking roller coaster 6 times a day. And it gets worse and worse over life. You know what I mean? Like it accumulates and it gets worse and worse. So yes, it is the things we do, the behaviors that have the biggest impact on how we feel, more than what your weight is. So I agree, Kent, 1000%. Yep. Weight loss nutritionist says it's all emotional. Yes. Yeah. Not actual most hunger. Yeah, absolutely. It's absolutely emotional. Although, you know, I was saying this too, that a lot of times emotional hunger, it feels like hunger though. And that's an important thing to recognize. I find this funny in myself that, like, if I have one pattern in the morning where I stay in my house longer, or like reading, working, right around 10:30, 11, I'll start to like, be like, oh, what do I get to eat? Whereas if I go into my office at like 10 o'clock, I never think about food. And I find it very interesting. But it's I don't know if it's a boredom, it's a combination of things. It always is. Environmental cues are always firing off. There is an emotional thing. I'm like kind of bored. And so, but it shows up as hunger. All of a sudden, I'm kind of hungry. So it's not like we feel like, oh, I feel like emotionally eating. We never think that way. It's like we get emotional and it transitions into hunger. And that's how we feel it and experience it. So it is kind of fascinating that way. But yeah, it is usually emotional, ultimately at the core of it. Yeah, Marty says, don't restrict on the binges, will calm down after time. I agree with that. Cactus says, how do I lose belly fat? You lose belly fat by losing fat in general. This idea of spot reducing is as silly as it gets. So, you know, there's no magical thing to get rid of belly fat. Just so y'all know, there's getting rid of fat, and some of that fat's on your belly, and so that'll go down. But yeah, it's gonna fix something here. Oh, come on. So yeah, there's no you lose belly fat by losing fat. And you lose fat by eating less calories. And you eat less calories typically by transforming your mindset, your lifestyle, and your eating strategies. So there you go. And he said, I read my environment. That really helped. Not sure what that means. So Christina says, hi, Jim. I just bought 2 pairs of jeans, one current size and one size smaller on sale. Yeah, great job. I think I love that idea. I'm a big fan of that. I love that. I love that, Christina, for you. I think that's brilliant. Perfect plan. I love that too. In addition to like buying one size smaller, which I think is a great motivator. I think that's a good strategy. Now, not for everyone, but for a lot of people, that's a great strategy. Rather than buying 4, 5, 6 sizes lower. And it's the same thing as like how you track your weight loss. And I think tracking your weight loss in 5-pound increments is a great idea too. But I think breaking the big goal you have for weight loss into small, quicker goals, I think is a great strategy for you. But that's great one, Christina. Good job. Oh, I rig my environment. Yeah. I rig my environment. That really helps. Yeah. You got to rig your environment, folks. Most of your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are controlled by the environmental cues that you're not even aware of. The subtle environmental cues that are firing off. That's what I'm talking about. Like, that's why I find it so funny. And I mean, it doesn't make sense because I realize it, but I still am at the mercy of it. That if I'm sitting in my house working, I start thinking about food at 10:30. If I'm in my office at the same time, I don't think about food. I don't know why, but it's like that. So yeah, influencing your environment is really, really important. Katie said, you're so right, because I'm sure it won't surprise you. I haven't shopped for clothes in months. It does not surprise me, Katie. And again, I'm not saying buy a whole wardrobe because I know you've got a goal. But what I'm saying is if you buy something that fits you now, you get to, I don't know, it just feels better. Even if you're, oh, I don't like this size. Oh, it hurts to be this size. I get it, I guess, but it's like, you're going to look better. And for a lot of you, looking better is your main goal anyways. And by the way, if looking better is your only weight loss motivator, it's not going to be enough, just so you know. Wanting to look better is not enough motivation for most people. But anyways, but you do want to look better. We all want to look better. And so it's like by going out and getting some clothes that, I'm not saying newer clothes are always, the answer, but it's like, they match up with where you're at. Whatever you think looks good now, it's just new. It just makes you feel fresher. They fit you better usually. Cause a lot of times, I had a client was telling me, she's like, I told her this and I said, she goes, I went and did it. And she goes, I gotta be honest. I was wearing my mom's clothes. And I was like, oh no. Oh, no. Now that's not always a bad thing. Okay. But in this case, it absolutely was. And it's just back to the point that, it's the restriction, it's the squeezing ourselves to force ourselves to do the right thing. So yeah, I would say, Katie, and again, it's just an experiment. You might go out and buy clothes and you feel like total shit. You know what I mean? Again, I can't, nothing's 100%. I think you should all realize that. But, I think it's just interesting. Yeah, Just Jay said I could shop in my closet if I lost the weight. I know that. I get that. So many of my clients have done that. But what I'm telling you is if you just go and buy something now. Now, again, I'm not saying this for everyone, but I'm saying for a lot of people to go get a new outfit, a new sweater, a new shirt, a new pair of, whatever. Like, I'm not saying get a whole wardrobe, but I'm saying go get something that makes you feel good, and it makes you feel good. The better you feel, the easier it is to lose weight. And you can get something now to wear and start feeling better. And then that will motivate you to want to wear the rest of the clothes in your closet. Because a lot of you are trapped. You've had all the clothes in your closet for 10 years and you haven't worn them. And you're locked in. See, if something's not working, do something fucking different. And we need to be reminded of that constantly. Dieters need to be reminded of this even more, because dieters do the same dumb shit over and over. Christ almighty, if you're a dieter, I don't know, my life, I literally dedicate my life to trying to wake you dieters up. But again, the dieting, strategy of not getting any clothes, and feeling like shit about the clothes we're wearing. If it works, keep doing it. If it doesn't work, please try something different. D said, mine is for sure is boredom eating. Yeah. Okay, D. So again, what we want to do, you say, okay, mine's boredom eating. But we can't fix all the boredom eating because all the boredom eating is not the same. The boredom meeting on Saturday is different than the boredom meeting on Tuesday night. It is, I promise you. It shows up differently. And so I would pick the one where you eat more typically. As I eat more on Saturdays. Okay, great. So you're bored on Saturdays. The answer is not the food anyways, but to just stop emotional eating never fixes the core problem, folks. So if you're bored of eating on Saturdays, not bored of eating on Saturday is not the fucking answer. It's not a long-term answer. Do you get that? I know you think it is, but it's not. A real answer is, what do you like to do? What interests you? What inspires you? What is compelling to you? What are you interested in? What do you look forward to? Start doing that on Saturdays. Does that make sense? Right? Because the core problem is you're bored. You're bored because you don't have strategies to entertain yourself. And so when you're bored, you do have a strategy. It's eat. So the answer is not just to eat, because now you're just gonna be a bored person on Saturday that's losing weight. You're not going to live that way for long. So the real answer is to find something that actually interests you, that you look forward to. Oh, Saturday, I can't wait. I'm going to go to an art class. I'm going to go dancing. I'm going to go for a hike, whatever. I can't say for you because I don't know what you like to do, D, but whatever you like to do or are interested in doing, start investing some time and energy into that. And then, pretty soon what happens is Saturday, oh, I can't wait. I got my art class I'm going to. I'm excited about it. Now all of a sudden you've cured the boredom. And simultaneously, you most likely have cured a lot of the boredom eating. Does that make sense? I'm talking crazy. Sometimes I think I'm crazy because it's like, it just seems to make so much sense to me and it seems to work with my clients. And yet you never hear this stuff. So I wonder if I'm crazy. I don't know. Marentia says, for how long will I feel hungry in a calorie deficit? I mean, probably, yeah. Now that's a question that I don't have all the information on, because I don't know what kind of calorie deficit you've set up for yourself. If you are a typical dieter, your calorie deficit is probably in the 50 to 60% range. The average dieter is usually cutting up at least half of their calories out on day one, and they're going to stick with that. So let's just assume you're an average dieter, and let me know. Let me know more specifics and I can give you a better answer. But let's just imagine because the average American, you're never going to believe this. I find this funny, but the average American adult consumes somewhere around 3,400 calories a day. Oh, what? No way, Jim. I track my calories and I only 2,200. Yeah, because when you track your calories, you eat way less. You're not tracking right anyways. It doesn't matter. So let's just say average American, you're consuming 3,300 calories. Well, let's just go with the old school diet routine. What was the average calories they would tell you to consume? Weight Watchers included. 1,200 calories, right? So that's a 70% reduction in calories. You've cut your average calories down by 2/3 in that scenario. So this is why I say the average dieter is going to cut 50 to 70% of their calories out. Just day one, gone. So if you're an average dieter and you've cut 50% of your calories out, yeah, you're probably going to be hungry for probably forever. Probably forever. So now I will let you know. I mean, listen, I live my life in a slight level of hunger. I love that feeling though. I feel alive. I like being a little hungry. I don't find that to be a bad thing. I hate feeling stuffed. I hate that feeling with a passion. But I love feeling alive, energized. My brain's going. My senses are sharp. So I like being slightly hungry. So again, how long you feel hungry in a calorie deficit really comes down to how much of a calorie deficit you've created for yourself. And you have probably created a drastic calorie deficit for yourself if you are a typical dieter. So yeah, so you're going to be super hungry. Okay, here we go. You gave me the information. I went from around 2,500 to 1,900 calories, and it's the first days now, and I'm feeling so hungry. Yeah, okay. So if those numbers were right, which they're probably not, but if they were, you've cut about 25% of your calories out, which is the higher end of what I would recommend, but it's not out of the ballpark. It's not 50%. But yeah, anytime you switch your calories by anything more really than 10, 15%, you're absolutely going to feel hungrier. And some of that's real hunger, and some of it is kind of psychological, emotional hunger because you're not eating as much as you normally did. So, 25% calorie cut, which I bet it's more than that. I bet you ate more than 2,500 calories, but maybe you didn't, People are very bad at estimating their calories. So I just want you to understand that when people tell me about the calorie thing, I'm not just here to be some asshole, making any sort of commentary on you. I'm making a commentary on human beings. Human beings are very bad at estimating calories. We never evolved in a scenario where we had calorie counters or any awareness of calories. It's a pretty new concept. So, and it doesn't have any intrinsic meaning to us. So anyways, don't take it personally when I don't necessarily believe the calorie numbers. But anyways, yeah, 25% calorie, you could get used to that. But I mean, I'd ramp up to it, but I'm weird like that. My suggestion is that you cut 10% out because that's really comfortable. And then you kind of get used to that. And then you cut another 10% out and you get used to that. I know it's kind of weird, but no one wants to do that because that's slower, right? We want fast results or no results. So I don't know. That'd be my suggestion. Ann says, why not eat till content with non-starchy veggies? What will that do to you? That'll probably make you lose weight. Eating whole natural foods is the ultimate weight loss hack. I know people would rather, become mathematicians and, figure out their protein grams and their calories and dive into the numbers. But they've done study after study where they've put those people with their specific calorie counting and all that shit against people that just eat whole natural foods. And the whole natural foods people on average consume about 500 calories less a day without counting anything. So yeah, I imagine if you could eat starchy vegetables too, by the way. There's nothing wrong with starchy vegetables. Any whole natural food is pretty much going to be fine. Eat away, folks. You're probably going to lose weight. So yeah, that's a good question. Lupo says, do you believe in the stomach shrinking when we eat less and are less hungry over time? Yeah, your stomach absolutely shrinks and it's relative. So yeah, the less you start eating, everything's relative in life. So, again, most Americans way over consume. And then when they want to lose weight, they way under consume. And so these drastic shifts just wreak havoc on our body and our minds. So again, what I did and what I suggest is that you slowly start pushing your average down comfortably. And then you get used to eating this much. That's where I'm at now. So I never did this crazy. Again, I think almost like everything you've learned about dieting is fucking completely wrong. And I mean that so sincerely and genuinely that like everything you know about weight loss is just fucking completely wrong. I was on someone to argue with me about that. I don't ever get anyone to argue with me anymore. It's kind of a bummer. I guess I'm gonna have to go to like dieting and keto groups or something. I need some arguments. I need some people to tell me that dieting works. I don't know where they all went. I don't know. I used to get them and now I don't, and it's a bummer. But anyways, this idea of dieting that you're going to have your average calorie consumption up here, which is up around 3,000 for most Americans. And what you're going to do is you're going to drastically cut it down to 1,200, 1,500 so you can lose weight. And then what are you going to do? Right? You're going to bring up that magical maintenance level. Now, before we go there, it's estimated 95% of people on diets that lose weight on diets put the weight back on. So this strategy of drastically cutting the calories down, like it absolutely works for fast weight loss. I wouldn't argue that. But then how about this concept and idea that you're going to bring it up to this magical maintenance level? I think that's where am I missing something? It seems like this is where everything falls apart. So to me, I would rather start at my average calorie consumption, the weight that I start at, and I'd like to cut 10, 15% of my calories out, watch my weight drop. Once I get comfortable with that, or once my weight stops dropping, I'll cut another 10, 15% out, let the weight drop. And I will do this until I reach my goal weight. And then I'll live at that calorie level for the rest of my life. I can't believe this is like an odd concept. That's how fucking crazy the dieting world we live in is. That what I just said is not how most people think about it. And I've got into numerous fights with people about this concept. No, Jimmy, you don't understand metabolic adaptation. We take that into account. You just keep reducing the calories until you get to your goal weight comfortably. Then we stay there. Because a lot of you dieters are under the false idea. I've had this fucking argument with so many dieters that you're going to drastically cut the calories out. And then you're going to bring your body up, your calories up to almost like where they were, but your weight's going to stay down. And why would it? Your weight's going to reflect whatever calories you're consuming on average. And if you cut your calories down, you're going to lose weight. And if you bring your calories back up, you're going to gain weight. But yeah, your stomach does kind of shrink, but it shrinks all the time anyways, but it doesn't expand as much when you eat less. Yeah, I mean, friendship makes so much sense. Yes, thank you. And Marincha says, oh, okay, thank you for the honesty. You're welcome. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to be honest with you all. Look at that. Bree. Nice. I got so many testimonials. That's one of my things I got to do. So I got to take all my testimonials and put them on a page. But there's so many of them now, it feels overwhelming. Yeah, folks. I mean, if you want to lose weight, I mean, if you're really serious, that's a whole nother story. I don't want to get into that. Bree, I joined the PYT world 1 year ago and I'm down 40 pounds and counting, even a 5-month break and no gain. Congratulations, Bree. Super proud of you. And the thing I'm most proud about is the 5-month break. That's super duper. And that's what happens with Program Yourself Thin people, because it's not this strict fucking white knuckle affair where you need 1000% of your energy to stick with a plan. It's built so that it's automated, so that when you take a break, you don't put a bunch of weight on. You don't put any weight on, ideally. Nice job, Bree. Proud of you. That is awesome. So good. Yeah, super proud of you. That is quite an accomplishment. And you're just at the beginning of it. That's what I try to remind you all of too, that this weight mastery path, we just keep getting better and 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 better at it. The opposite of dieting, where dieting, you just keep going around in a circle. You never get better at it. You never learn anything. You never grow. You never evolve. You never automate it. It's always a focus, always hard work. Whereas Program Yourself Thin just gets easier and easier the more you do it. You know? So, yeah, great job, Bree. All right, everyone, I'm going to get out of here. But again, if you're not in my world, go click the link in my bio, go get the hypnosis session, watch the video, read the emails I send you. I'm here live every day, weekday, Monday through Friday, usually around noon Eastern. If you have any questions, feel free to get on here and ask them. I'm happy to help you out. It is a podcast too. So if you ever want to listen to the podcast, it's Program Yourself Thin, and it's on all the podcast platforms. So you can check that out as well. But GTW says, what do I eat? If you want to lose weight, you eat whole natural foods. So the less processed junk food stuff that you eat, the more whole natural food you eat that grown in the ground and looks like it's grown. I'll give you a hint. The more you shop in your produce section and the less you shop in the middle aisles, that's kind of an easy way to understand it. So yeah, that's what you eat. Now, you don't just do it all at once because that's kind of overwhelming. So you kind of slowly and systematically start to optimize your eating. But the optimization is aiming at whole natural foods. So, all right, everyone, have a super duper day and we'll talk soon. Bye, everyone.